Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Brittany. For today's video, I wanted to show you guys my cheap everyday makeup routine. I wanted to just stick to using products that were under $10. I wanted to do a makeup look that's more affordable. I just want you guys to know that you do not need $50 foundation, you don't need $30 concealer, you don't need $30 setting powder, you don't need $27 lip gloss. You can do a nice, well done face to where it looks like you spent a lot of money on your makeup products and you didn't. They last just as long, you guys, and they look just as good. So if you guys want to see what products I use, how I created this look, keep on watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did filming it, and I will see you guys in the next clip. The very first thing I am using is my e.l.f. Brow Lift. This is a great eyebrow gel to keep your brows in place. Just recently started using disposable spoolie brushes to apply the brow gel to my eyebrows because I just prefer to throw them away instead of trying to clean my spoolie brush. So with these disposable brushes, I just bend it like that to create an angle. I just take my spoolie brush and I comb that brow gel through my brows. It's much easier for me to create the shape that I want using this brow gel first before applying any other products to my brows, because all of my hairs are going in the same direction now. And I'm able to comb them up and they're actually staying combed up instead of falling back down. When I'm done applying that gel, I take some waterproof mascara. The one I'll be using today is by Essence. It's the Lash Princess Waterproof Mascara. And I lightly brush through my brows. Too much product. Let me wipe some of this product off. Whenever I have too much product on the applicator, just go in and wipe some of it off so that my brows aren't too dark. I take that brush and I just lightly brush it through my brows to make them darker. Then when my brows are filled in, I go in with my e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Rich Chocolate, take my angled eyebrow brush, and I clean up my brows with this concealer. To blend out the concealer, I just take my concealer brush and blend it out. This is the Morphe E30 concealer brush. I just blend out that concealer line. So that is all what I do for my brows. You guys see how neat and clean they are, and that brow gel is holding them in place. They look really, really neat and clean. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my primer. The primer I'm going to be using is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and I always just put it in the middle of my face, forehead, really just all over my face, I guess. And sometimes I feel like I have to talk all the time when I'm showing you guys what I'm doing. But that's not the case. You probably don't need this much, but I just have a heavy hand, you guys, so I just like to drench my face with this. So this primer is gonna really help my makeup last all day. It's very tacky, and whenever I am doing a full face of makeup, I always use this primer. depending on what foundation I'm using, but 9 times out of 10, I'm using this primer. Next, I use some setting powder. The one I'm using is the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder in the shade Deep. And I'm pressing that setting powder really all over my face. This is gonna smooth out my skin tone, but also increase the longevity of how long my makeup will last. Every time I add loose powder to my face before adding my foundation, I just find that my makeup lasts much longer. I'm going to be using my foundation from Shein. It's their She Glam makeup line. And the foundation I'm using is the Complexion Pro Long Lasting Breathable Matte Foundation in the shade Dark Clove. You guys, this is amazing. This foundation looks so good on my skin. I paid around $9 for this foundation and I wasn't expecting much, honestly, because of how cheap it was, but this foundation looks really good on my complexion. The shade is perfect. It lasts all day. It is a 24-hour wear foundation. Also like the finish of this foundation, although it's a mattifying foundation, it's a natural matte. It's not very, very matte on my skin. And it still gives me a little bit of dewiness, surprisingly, for it to be a mattifying foundation. The brush that I use to spread out my foundation, I always take it and apply some around right where I applied the concealer to clean up my brows on top to get rid of that concealer line. And I sometimes do the bottom. I'm going to do the bottom today because I had a hard time blending it out, but I don't like that concealer line around the brows. It just looks unnatural to me, so I always try to clean it up some more with my foundation. This is the finish of the foundation. It's very nice, flawless airbrush, natural matte. If you guys are new to my channel, I have pretty oily skin. My skin is really oily, but I also like for my makeup to still have a dewy finish. I don't like a super mattifying makeup look on me personally. So I always stick to makeup products that give me a little bit of a glow but doesn't make me look like a grease ball. I'll be using my LA Girl Pro Concealers today. One, because these concealers work just as good as my expensive $30 concealers, and every time I just don't want to spend $30 on a concealer, I always go back to these or my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I would say those are like my top 2 favorite concealers that are affordable and that are under $10. So first I'm going to start off with the shade Beautiful Bronze, and I'm using Beautiful Bronze to highlight my face. And whatever I do to one side, I have to hurry up and do it to the other side because I want it to look the same on both sides. So I start off, I put a small amount on this side, and then I switch over to this side to do the same thing. Then I take my lighter concealer. This is in the shade Toffee. Y'all, I used to wear this concealer by itself. I just thought this was the perfect shade to go underneath my eyes, and it used to look really bright, real bright. Just kind of ghostly, honestly, because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know how to blend out my concealer. But this was the concealer I used to use for my whole face. That is insane. I leave that concealer right here to create more brightness underneath my eyes. Then I go back to Beautiful Bronze and I highlight the rest of my face with Beautiful Bronze because it's much closer to my skin tone than Toffee is. I'm taking my contour brush by Real Techniques, and I'm going to use that to blend out all of this concealer. I always blend out the concealer underneath my eyes last, and I just do the rest of my face first. When I am finally done blending out this concealer, I go back in with my Maybelline Fit Me setting powder, and I use that setting powder to set my concealer in place. I always start off with the brush first, and then I go in with the sponge to give me a brighter under eye. This setting powder is something I think I will always have in my makeup routine just because of the finish of it. It looks so airbrushed, so soft, and it's easy to blend, and not to mention that it's $9. Now that I'm done setting underneath my eyes, I go back in with that setting powder, but this time I use a sponge and I just press some of that setting powder underneath my eyes to create a brighter under eye. The only thing I'm putting on my eyes is my pressed powder from NYX. It is their Can't Stop, Won't Stop mattifying pressed powder in the shade Rich. So I just use that to warm up my eyes. I don't really wear that much eyeshadow anymore, you guys. I do want to start back wearing eyeshadow again because I have so many eyeshadow palettes that are just collecting dust. But this is a great alternative if you guys are looking for a bronzer that's pretty inexpensive. So I just keep applying this until I feel like I have enough on my eyes. This is just creating dimension, and then I drag this pressed powder down the sides of my nose as well, my nose bridge. A little bit of soft contour. The lashes I'm wearing are from Tati Lashes, you guys. They have, what is it, an MUA discount. I'm not a makeup artist, but they have an MUA discount. If you buy 20 pairs of lashes, there'll be a 60% off each pair of lashes. So I always do that deal, and I get 20 pairs and they're like $6. But if you don't wear makeup like that, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I think originally their lashes are like $12 or $13, but I always just do the 20 pair count because I wear lashes so much. Next thing I'm going to do to my face is take my NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop bronzer, well, pressed powder again, and I'm going to use it as a bronzer. This is my third or fourth time buying this, you guys, and it broke again. It broke again. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, why I'm so clumsy, but I can never keep this pressed powder together. It's always breaking. So I'm using the crumbs of this pressed powder to put on my face, and I'm just going to use this as a bronzer. Sometimes I use this, it's not a bronzer, but sometimes I use this pressed powder all over my face too. Days where I'm just not really wearing makeup, but I just want to add something to even out my skin tone, I'll go in with this pressed powder and use that because it has a red undertone. So it really does create that warmth to my face. And also this pressed powder is in the shade Rich, if I didn't mention that already. I'm applying some mascara to the bottom of my lashes, and I'm using the same mascara I use for my brows. So this is the Essence Lash Princess Waterproof Mascara in the color Black. I'm using 2 lip liners for my lips. The LA Girl Perfect Precision Eyeliner Pencils is what I normally use for my lips, but I'm using the shade Dark Brown, and I'm also using the shade Brown. Dark brown is a very cool brown, and sometimes it almost looks black, while the shade brown is just a warmer brown. So using these 2 colors together really gives me the perfect shade of brown that I want. So I start off with dark brown. Y'all see how dark that is? If you like your lip liner to look this dark, you can stop here, but I always take the shade brown and I just kind of tone down the dark brown. The gloss I'm using is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Butterscotch. Butter Gloss, Butterscotch. This is a muted pink, but I just put that right there. And we are pretty much done. Sometimes I'll go back in with my lip liners and make my top lip darker and leave the bottom lip a little lighter because I like that look. I'm going back in with dark brown and I'm just filling it in a little bit more, making the top of my lips just darker. To lock this makeup in place, I'm taking my Dewy Coconut Setting Mist by e.l.f. and I'm spraying my face down. This is going to get rid of the powderiness and it's just going to give my skin a very dewy appearance. While my face is still wet, I'm going back into my NYX pressed powder and I'm adding some more of that pressed powder right on my cheeks because it just has more pigment. It has more pigment to when my face is wet. You can just see it much better. So I'm just adding some more on my face. See, you guys can see it much better. Yeah, you guys now can see it. And I also like to go back into my setting powder and add more setting powder on my cheeks. And I'm also getting rid of that line that I just added with the pressed powder. So you guys, I was gonna do my hair and everything, but I kind of like this look. I like this look with the headband. I just put on this headband to keep the hair away from my face, but this is the finished makeup look. All of the products I used today was under $10, every last one of them, guys. So I just want y'all to know, it's really all about the technique. Let me know what you guys think about this makeup look. I hope you guys appreciate this video as much as I do, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, you guys.